Okay, this is another video by Rotors by Scott. This is a G-500A Yaesu elevation rotator. Now this particular rotator is AC. In other words, it's 24 volts AC. It does not have the capacitor inside the rotor. So the motor run capacitor is inside the box. I just want to explain that. And here I've got my potentiometer centered, 252.8, 253.2. So that means that my potentiometer is centered. Here's the motor assembly with all the gears. And there's a gear that turns this big ring gear inside here. Now this thing has got stops in it. You can't tell it now. You gotta kind of drop these two pieces in at the same time, and then drop this one down into the bottom housing. And oh, by the way, hope everybody likes my little stand I made to hold that up whenever I'm putting this thing together. But it's got two notches in the plate down in there, and when this thing swings around, it's got a notch or a pin in it. That is what the mark is for, and it comes around, hits that, so it stops. Now I've already cycled this thing a couple times, and the pin is lined up with the drain hole, so I'd have to put the camera down because I want to hold the shaft in place so it don't jump out of time. But yeah, that's all there is to that. And then you lube up the big ring gear down in there. And when you put this together, you put sealant around the edges, and I stop about right there. See, that's the drain hole. And I just use good old Detroit, what's that stuff called? It's stuff that they use when it's metal to metal. I've got a bunch of that, but I'll smear it all the way around here, and it'll seal the half in there because you don't want to get any water in it, of course. But I could drum it here just a little bit. You can see my ohm's changing, and you can see the little gear rocking back and forth. I definitely don't want to jump out of time. And then the gears, and then, oh, that is actually the gear that drives the potentiometer, and that's the gear that comes off the other gear. But it's all been cleaned up and serviced and checked out. And I also, what did I do? I also, whenever this thing was still together, I drilled, I drilled this hole and tapped it and put a helicoil in it. And the same thing with the other housing. This is the other housing. It's already got the bearings cleaned up, greased and everything. But this thing will go on like that. And when this thing was born, it did not have these bolt holes over here. So I marked them and drilled them. And that way you can put the U-bolt on it if you want to bolt this thing to the top of a rotator. I've got that U-bracket here somewhere. In all this mess. Oh, here it is. Oh, let me get this thing. This is the U-bracket. This bolts on top of the rotator. And then you can bolt this apparatus on it. This was made for the studs on the one side, so you can put it to the mast. They got the big long studs, both sides. And if a person wants to bolt it to the top of another Yaesu rotator, which this one right here was one that I stole the bracket off of, if I can pick it up. I set it on my lap here. This bracket bolts on just like that, And then you bolt the elevation rotator on top of it. I'm sure everybody's seen that. But if a person wants to bolt this on top of a G-1000 DXA or something, you'll bolt it with these two holes on each side. And then you put a small bolt and a copper washer on that to seal them holes, because they go right into the housing. You can see they go right into the housing. Anyway, my own meters are starting to tell me that they're going to top off. Anyway, it's going to be a short video, but that is, well, I can't really say it's a Yahoo elevation because it is made still by Kenpro. Same thing. Anyway, I want to take it off the stand and goop up the housings and bolt them together. And I put socket-headed screws in there in these. I don't use the original Phillips screws because it's too hard to get them out. I put an Allen-headed bolt and a washer in there, and then anti-seize on the bolts, of course. And the sealant keeps any of the water that would leak in between the two halves. But there you go. Kind of tricky wiring that thing up. What's that little thing on there? I hope that when I get one that's got the connector on it, that it's not in the way of my little stand there. I might have to do something a little different there. I'll take that on as I go, but there it is. Nice and sturdy. Anyway, there's 7 minutes. Talk to you later.